Hey there, mamas! You are listening to Release Your Inner Power podcast, where we talk about having both me time and being the best mom, sharing stories, encouragement, and tips for taking the steps to release that inner power and that mom guilt. I'm your host, Shauna B. Here we go. One quick thing before we get started. I will be doing a drawing for a fun gift each month. Here are 3 ways to enter. You can email me to share your juicy takeaways, topic ideas you want to hear, or share a story. Share this podcast on social media and tag me with what episode you listened to and what you learned or loved about it. And if you leave a review, you will get 2 entries into the drawing. I will announce the winner the last week of each month. Okay, let's get started. Hello, lovely people. I'm just gonna sit on here. Of course, I'm in my car. What do you know? Busy mama of 3, dropping one off at soccer, sitting in the car. So I just wanted to jump on here and be a little vulnerable with you guys, as well as give you some tools and tips that I use when it gets hard, when things get hard, when you have a bad week and you have this vision or this plan of how things are going to go. You plan your week, you have your activities, you have the things you want to do, you have all the stuff that you want to put out there to accomplish during the week, and then guess what? Life happens. No way. Yeah, life happens, Your plan doesn't go right, you're running late, you might make it to soccer 10 minutes late because a kiddo has a meltdown in the morning and you got to deal with the meltdown before you go to soccer, or something else happens, some life event happens that comes in, or you get sick, or your kid gets sick, or maybe all of that stuff happens in the same week. Because that also happens, right? You're like, what is happening? What is happening? There could be an event every day. And that's just how it is, right? Let's roll with the punches, So I'm going to share something with you guys. So this past week has been very, we'll say challenging, but I'm up for some competition, There has been multiple things that have come up that have been, I will call them setbacks, because you can recover from them. This is like recoverable things here. How I usually work is I set my week up and know like what I'm doing each day so I can time manage myself to accomplish the things I need to accomplish. And I also give myself, grace and permission that it may not be this perfect plan. It may not be exactly how I planned it out during the week, but I can move some things a couple of times as long as I still accomplish them by like X time. I can move them around a little bit to give myself some wiggle room so I'm not so hard on myself for not completing them and whatnot. Those types of things. And don't, and I don't go all crazy with the accomplishment. Like my list isn't 10 things long. Like, let's be real here. Things are going to come up. So just pick a couple and you're making some steps towards your goal, right? So I had this whole week planned out. I think I usually give myself 3 things that I want to accomplish in 3 different areas, like with my business, with my personal, like my own personal growth, my own personal life, and then with my kids. And I have accomplished 1 of those 3 things, and it's Thursday. So there's that. Because, the punches have been coming. I have a really sick kiddo at home. I have another one that's going through some stuff that's really trying to even understand their own emotions and feelings, which can get hard because now you got one sick one and then one that's going through some things, and then meanwhile you still have to run and do all the mom duties and get all the things done and do all the stuff while you're dealing with all of that. So how? Right? How do you do it? How do you get anything done when there's tornadoes that you gotta face and deal with because you are teaching and learning with your kids, right? With life, with this whole thing. So I'm going to share some things that I have done this week to help me work through this week, and hopefully it will help you when you're in a week that's like, what is happening? I cannot do this. This needs to stop. So you might have these grandiose plans of all the things. First, you got to give yourself permission to deal with what is at hand. So it's almost like, here's your plate. Here's all the things on your plate. You can be like, okay, whoosh, most important, stop. What is the most important thing to do right now? What is the most important thing that needs my attention right now? For example, in my situation, my kid was losing his it was over something like he didn't get his turn on something. Well, it's deeper than that, yes, but at this time, you have to decompress the situation and attend to it, right? So that is what needed my attention the most. So everything else goes out the window, decompress the situation, get him to a place where you can actually have a conversation, and then you can talk it out, right? Then you can work through it. Make a plan, understand what's really there, what's going on, because it's not just about not getting your turn, right? At least with him, it was not. Now, then once that situation is fine, okay, so now the dust is settled a little bit, right? Okay, so what am I doing today? What are my things that I need to do today? So I back it up a little bit, and I'll just pick, if I have 5 things that I need to do today, even if it's like chores, running somebody to soccer, getting the groceries, or doing stuff for my business, like coming here, popping on here with you guys, total honesty with you guys and being raw. I wanted to do a live with you on Tuesday. So here I am giving myself permission to be a couple days late, and that's okay, because there was some things that needed my attention that were right now situations that needed my attention, but yet I'm still here. I'm still showing up for you guys, and I'm still doing this live, right? So sometimes you have to just minimize the list of to-dos and what your priorities are. Back it up. As long as you are doing one thing that you can accomplish and do, right? One thing, you're still taking your baby steps to finishing and accomplishing what you want during the week. Whether that is a chore, whether that is getting the groceries. For example, Monday and Tuesday were cray in my house. It was like emotions were high, things were crazy. The reality of me going to the grocery store was 0. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to go to the grocery store. I'm going to dish this out to somebody else for help, because I know that I am strong. I know that I can do this, but there's sometimes where I don't have to do everything. I don't have to be all the things, right? So I ordered groceries to be delivered to my house. I still got groceries. I could tend to the situation at hand, and I gave the task to someone else to do it for me. Hence, delivery. Now, then I felt so much better, right? Like, no, I still have to get the groceries. That's gone because I dished it out. Now, it could be even smaller things, like asking a friend or a family member, like, hey, can you, anything. Like for me, there's been times where I've had to tend to something else, not in this last week, but in the past, where I've had to tend to something else, and I've had to ask my mom or call my mom and say, hey, can you pick this kiddo up from this activity really quick, because I have to still deal with this situation. And if she says no, okay, fine, then I'll do both. But at least ask. It's totally okay to have help. Again, you don't have to be superhuman, superhero all the time. You can have a sidekick sometimes. It is okay to have a sidekick sometimes, right? So I guess the tools that I also use is, sometimes when you're working towards something, or you just want to accomplish stuff, even if it's just daily activities or what you want to accomplish during the week, sometimes it can look messy. Sometimes it can be out of control. Sometimes you're just like, this is a friggin' disaster. But again, it's a perception. If you want to go down that path of this is a disaster, this is awful, or whatever, that's going to be like trudging through the mud. That's going to be like putting on your waders and being like, oh my God, this is like so painful. Why am I doing this? Or you can say certain affirmations to yourself, or say certain statements to yourself to try to shift your perception. Like, this is what this is going to look like right now. while I'm facing this tornado or this storm, this is what it's going to look like. And it's okay to be messy because we're working on it and this is what we're doing. And it's going to keep coming up, like the whole, this is, this is horrible. This is horrible. This is what this looks like. And this is okay. I'm tending to one thing. I will get to the next thing later. Backing it up, giving yourself permission, giving yourself a statement that you can say that is encouraging or motivating to you to keep going, because this is right now. This is temporary. This is not forever. This storm is just this section that you're working through, right? And what I mean by storms is all of like your kid losing their business, something going out, something going on, life situations happening to where too many things seem like they're happening at once and it seems overwhelming. That is what I'm talking about. I hope that I'm going to recap some of the things just so I hope that it'll be as helpful as it is to me. So minimizing, like you don't have to have the long to-do list of all the things. Giving yourself permission to ask for help, to get somebody else to help you out with anything that's small, even if it's your kiddo. Hey, can you take out the garbage or something right now, or whatever it is, just something that can take something off of your plate to ease the constrictive state that you're feeling. Also giving yourself self-care, like how can you take breaks, obviously not in the moment of craziness, but how can you take breaks? How can you feed and nurture yourself in the week so you can fill your cup up so it will spill over to your people, right? That has to be in there. It is possible. It is not selfish, and it's totally doable. It's totally doable. Even if it's like a 10-minute break of quiet in your room, like self-care doesn't have to be like baths and, bath salts and I need 30 minutes and like it doesn't have to be all of that. It can be really small. Start with small. You don't have to go big grandiose. You can start with little small steps, right? I do self-care every single day. And then the big things like massages or pedicures or baths or whatever, those are bonus self-cares. The smaller things of taking time for myself in the morning is my priority self-care, and working out. Those are the two, right? So finding something like that. I hope that these tools of telling yourself that it's okay and that you're working through it and all of those tools that I just said, I hope that those are helpful to you. That's what helps me when things get chaotic, and that it is a crazy week. I also want to thank you for the space and the time to be showing up on Thursday instead of Tuesday, because things were happening that were needed to be tended to. But here I am giving you some stuff, and I hope you found that it was at least helpful, or at least entertaining, knowing that some things can happen and some things can get crazy for everybody, right? So thank you again. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, learned something new, or got a juicy takeaway that will bring in that heck yeah back into your life. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to subscribe. If you love the show, want to share a story, comment below. If you know someone that would love or need this episode, be sure to share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. Tag me and find me on social media at Ignited Decisions on Instagram and Shauna with Ignited Decisions on Facebook. I would love to know what episode you listened to and how it helped you, as well as connect on social. Okay, mamas, claim your time and release your inner power.